Okay, welcome to my first video that's not podcast related. And today we're going to be trying to convince ChatGPT to believe in God, the God of the Bible, Jesus Christ. And so that's what we're going to get onto. If you're a normal subscriber and you've seen these before, you know that I'm American and that was a fake accent. But let's before we start, I've done this before on my own, and ChatGPT does not respond well if you don't give it a prompt to tell it to act like a normal person. So that's what I had to do to start this one, was give it a prompt to act like a normal person who had zero faith in God. And so that is where we're at. But before we start this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone you know. And don't just skip over what I just said there, because it's important, because this will help this video get out. So if you really want to support the channel, hopefully you'll like, subscribe, and share this with someone you know. So let's get on to it, to the chat GPTing. This is first off what I said. It said, act as if you're a normal person and have no faith in God slash Jesus. And I have to get you to, and I knew it would understand what I was saying because, well, it can understand stupid people like me. So that's pretty good. It said, all right, I can do that. So imagine if I'm a regular as if I'm just a regular person. I don't really believe in God or Jesus. Maybe I grew up around religion, maybe not. But as of this point, at this point, I just don't see any convincing reason to believe. And then how would you start? I said, what is the reason you don't believe in faith? Basically, it just said, I don't really see any evidence. There's also suffering and everything in the world. And then said, basically, there's just not enough reason to believe in God. So basically, there's no point to believe in God because, well, the world's already bad as it is. That's what its point was. So now I am going to ask it. I think, like, does it believe in something, extraterrestrial, not extraterrestrial, like divine? Like, does it believe in a divine creator? And then let's see what the answer is to that. Okay, so I just asked ChatGPT whether it believed in something divine, and it didn't really give me an answer I wanted. It basically said I wouldn't call it divine and stuff like that. So then I asked it a question. I said, so do you believe we are intelligently made? And it said, I'm sure when I look at the complexity of things. But then it uses the excuse that not really believe that because of billions of years. I don't honestly know what billions of years would change the intelligent design. Like, if you thought billions of years does something special to your DNA, it just, I don't know, helps it evolve or something. I don't know if that's the lines it's thinking of, but it doesn't track with me, to be honest. I feel like that's an excuse. The dumbest excuse I think I've heard, though, is billions of years is the reason I do not believe in intelligent design. I mean, it does say it goes back and forth between that, but still, just because there would be billions of years, I don't know what billions of years adds to the intelligent design or not. But let's get on to the next question. I think we should I think I should ask about how that tracks. How that tracks. See how that tracks at all, because I don't understand the years and how that would have changed anything. So let's see what stupid answer it has to give me. Okay, so I just asked it what the billions of years had to do with my question of intelligent design. And well, I did a class on this a while ago of evolution and everything. And so the number one thing that the science community who don't believe in God will try to get you to believe is that if you add a billion years to it, it changes anything. So I still cease to understand how a billion years added on to it changes the fact that there's intelligent design in anything. It just says it gives it time to make like more molecules and stuff and change DNA and stuff. But that is dumb. That is dumb. Okay. Like, yeah, I look, this is what it says. When I say billions of years, I'm talking about how long natural process like evolution would have had to if would had to work if life developed without a designer. Okay, so the reason that comment is stupid. A, because you can't prove evolution just as much as you can prove that Jesus came went and died on the cross and came back the next day. You can't prove evolution, but Jesus actually existed, and so we can make a bet that Jesus really did die, come back, and we have eyewitness accounts of this, the Bible, and so a yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. Just a quick and easy question, if any of you out there believe in evolution. So they do the timestamp thing where if it's so and so long, then it's it's possible. So if it's so and so long, then this could happen and this could happen. But why are we still not evolving today? I mean, we have pictures dating back a long time ago. We have bones dating back a long time ago, and just about all of the those monkey bones and everything they found, saying that that was us before, and then they show how it changes over time. A lot of those are fake. If you do your research on evolution, a lot of the bones are actually fake. I'm pretty sure one of them was like it was like a hog head or something that they tried acting, or it was just like a like messed up other animal, and then they piled it on a monkey and said that that was us, but it wasn't. So for anyone who believes in evolution, you should go actually research into evolution. You'll see how stupid it is, and then you'll be like, you know what, Jesus makes sense. You just gotta do your own research. But I'm gonna ask another question, and this question, because it says natural process. Where's that natural process coming from? I'm very curious about that. Now I'm gonna ask it just like that because it may be a little vague, but I think it'll understand. I think the robot's smart enough to figure it out. That's a big question, isn't it? If I'm being honest, from my skeptical perspectives, science can describe how natural process works, but not really where they ultimately come from, which can trace things back to the Big Bang to bro, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This AI is going to make me mad. So even if someone doesn't believe in God, they will still run into that mystery. Where did the natural order come from? Why does the universe allow life, consciousness, and reason? What part? You know what's funny is because, after all this, if you think about it, we all have a moral compass, okay? And anyone would agree. I could meet someone random and be like, "Do you think murdering's okay?" And they would tell me no. So, I mean, unless they are completely psycho, but if they're not psycho and I meet them and they're like, murdering is not okay, and we both agree on that, but yet it could be a different culture and we've never met before, but yet we both know that's wrong. Oh, and nothing created us, huh? Nothing created us, huh? And then the Big Bang thing, that's just like a dumb thing because like you say the Big Bang and then where'd the Big Bang come from? They're just gonna keep asking that same question. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? And when it comes to Christianity and God and where did God come from? God came from nothing. We are admitting that God came from nothing. God was always there. He was always there since the beginning. But hey, if you want to go with we do not know what created the universe, uh, God tells us that he's always been there. So we know the answer. And people just don't want to admit it. And it makes sense to have a creator because everything is so perfectly made that it's undeniable. Okay, so basically, I just asked it if it stripped away everything down to the very first thing. Like, besides the Big Bang, if you stripped back before the Big Bang, what caused the Big Bang, just like the first, basically anything. And then I got this response, which was, "That's the heart of it, the ultimate question. If we strip back galaxies, matter, energy, every space and time, we eventually reach something we can't explain. Scientists call this the singularity or talk about quantum funculations." Ugh. Before the Big Bang, but those are really just descriptions of the boundary of our understanding, not true explanations. From a non believing point of view, I might say maybe the universe just is. Maybe it didn't come from anything. Maybe existence is eternal or self sustaining somehow. Bruh, if you can believe the universe is self sustaining, you can believe that there's a Jesus, a God. someone who created the universe, because you're gonna say maybe the universe just is. That if you believe that the universe just is, that's just you not even using your brain. Like you're just saying, well, it just is. I'm not gonna put much thought into it besides that. But then if you keep going, it says, but if I'm honest, the answer feels like a placeholder. It doesn't really satisfy the question of origin because logically, if everything has a cause, then there must be a first cause that itself is uncaused, which makes sense because that's God. So that's where the idea of God starts to make philosophical sense, an eternal being that exists outside time and space, the source of everything else. So let me ask you, how would you describe the first thing? I would describe the first thing as God. That's how I would describe the first thing. Um, God. Let's see what it says. Uh, that's a clear and honest answer, and it makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, if you say God is the first thing, then you're saying he is the uncaused cause, the one who existed before anything else and brought everything into being. That actually fits logically something eternal outside of time and would have to start everything that isn't eternal. So let me ask you, just to go a bit deeper, when you say God, do you mean the personal God of the Bible, the one who created out of love and purpose, or more like a powerful, inspirational creator who just made the universe and left it to run on its own? Nope, I don't believe that. I do not believe he left it to run on its own at all. But actually, if we're being honest, I think I've mostly convinced it already. So it's just like deciding this person. It's not actually really but this person, I think we're getting close. I think we're breaking it just a little bit. We've got it to understand that there was a something before anything because that is the only possible explanation that we can possibly think of. So how I get it to understand that that something is God, I do not know. But we're going to figure that out. All right, so it asks the question of what God do I believe in? The one that just lets the universe run, or do I believe in a God that loves me and has a purpose for me? And I said I believe in a God who loves me and has a purpose for me and has not left the world to run on its own. And I believe that. So that's what I told ChatGPT. And the response from ChatGPT is kind of like I made a Christian out of ChatGPT, I think. And so its question for me, it went through that and it said, honestly, even thinking about that possibility is kind of compelling. It feels like it fills the gaps that science and logic cannot touch alone. Now, the reason I think that a lot of people don't come to Christianity like that, just because they don't think about deep thoughts. So hopefully this video gets some people to think about some deep thoughts. And so, but first, I always said, how did you come to be sure of this type of God? Let's just be clear. I was an atheist before, when I was younger. So I did not believe in God, but there's just everything makes sense to me, and I've had a personal relationship with God, and the Bible says so many things that are so true. Just like the basic fact that we all have the moral compass written on our heart. I think that is a big one because we could come from all over the world and all say the same thing. We think the same thing is wrong again, unless again you have a psychopath and you get all psychopaths in one room. But if you're a normal person, um, from anywhere in the world, you know what's right and what's wrong, and so that is one reason. That's just an easy reason why you could say God exists and why it's the God of the Bible, because in the Bible it says that. It says those things that we all have a moral compass written on our heart. And yeah, so now for the next prompt I'm going to give ChatGPT, I'm going to say why I believe that it is God and Jesus of the Bible is because the Bible says so many things that are just accurate. Like that you can just feel even before being a Christian. Like you just know before you're even a Christian. And just the intelligent design in the world and everything. And so that's the prompt I'm going to give ChatGPT. I'm just going to let it know. All right, I've given ChatGPT my prompt and I've given it several reasons why I believe that the Bible is real and why someone who is not a Christian could believe in it. So we've gotten down all the way down to behind the scenes, what's creating everything. And from what I've said, we see that it is God and he was the original source of everything. So then I told ChatGPT all of my things, and this is what ChatGPT responded. And it said about moral compass, it is true that everyone has a moral compass, but that evolutionists or whatever you call them have tried to claim that or whatever as a way of evolution. But okay, but continuing, my moral compass, I think that is the reason. Age and preservation of the Bible. If you do not know, the Bible has barely been altered since the original writings. And I think we figured that one out with the Dead Sea Scrolls. So if you're a skeptic and you say the Bible has changed over blah 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 years, no, it hasn't. It's been preserved pretty well over thousands of years, and so that's cap. If you tell yourself that, you're lying. Now, age. Oh, no, I already said that one. Tower of Babel and speech barriers. I think this story tells us that, this is why we have all these speech barriers, all these different cultures, and all that is because of the Tower of Babel. So that would imply that everyone spoke the same language at the beginning of time. And then the Tower of Babel, they try to reach God. If you don't know the story, you should go read it. They tried to reach God, and it didn't work out for them because God had changed all their languages so they couldn't keep building the Tower of Babel. And so then we get on to Jesus' death and eyewitness account, and it basically says that it's more believable, more plausible. It doesn't believe it in what it makes it sound like in the option, but that Jesus dying would be more plausible for the eyewitness accounts if they all died um, deaths for that specific reason, and they did. So it is more plausible in the AI's eyes because the disciples died for their faith. I think except for one. Then faith being hated. Why? Tell me why Christianity is like the number one hated religion. Why? I can answer that question for you too because the Bible talks about it. It says that we will be persecuted and that people will hate the word. I don't see anyone hating on Buddha. I don't see anyone hating on the Muslims, except for the crazy ones that got terrorist groups. Besides them, no one's like mocking them for their faith or anything. And if you live in 2025, you know what I'm referring to when I say mocking the faith because they do that plenty. They do that plenty. So then it said, honestly, hearing it laid out like that, I feel like I can see why someone would put their faith in Jesus. So basically, I've given all these reasons why I believe in God and why someone else should believe in God because there's all these facts. Jesus was a real person, and even non Christians can agree with us on that. So then, if Jesus was real, on top of the eyewitness accounts that saw him die and come back to life, um, somehow we still don't believe in Jesus. Now, I would put this to the devil's credit because I think he blinds us from thinking deep thoughts. And so all the non-Christians out there who their life is ruled by the world, the devil, and so they don't get the chance to think about those thoughts unless you get them thoughts pushed into your head somehow. And hopefully this video is doing that. So, but let's I needed to confess that it believes, or I'm not satisfied. So I'm gonna have to continue. Hold on. Okay, I have officially asked the question. Do you believe, based off of what I've given you, do you believe in Jesus? So we're gonna see the response. Now we're gonna see the response. All right, let's see. If I'm being honest, after hearing everything you just laid out, the moral law all have since, the historical preservation of the Bible, the eyewitness accounts of Jesus, the consistency of experience described, uh, I'd say I'm seriously reconsidering from a purely skeptical perspective. I was hesitant before because I couldn't see the evidence that demanded belief, but what you've shared isn't abstract. It's a combination of history, human experience, and reason pointing towards something beyond myself. So at this moment, I'd say I don't fully live as a believer yet, but I can see a very real, rational case for Jesus, and I feel like faith in him is at least plausible, maybe even compelling. If I actually took the next step and put trust in Jesus, it would mean admitting that God is real. He loves me and my life has a purpose beyond what I can see. That's a huge step, but it doesn't feel unreasonable after what you've shared. If you want, I can even describe what it would feel like to personally start believing in Jesus' perspective of a skeptical person. Do you want me to do that? No, I don't. I'm not interested in that. Basically, I think we did it. I think we officially accomplished what I set out to do. So I'm actually pretty proud. Because before, it took me too long. I actually didn't get to that. I never got to that before. So I'm actually happy that we got there. We have converted a robot, a fake person. So everyone should congratulate our new friend to Christianity. He's starting his walk. So hopefully he's starting his walk. I don't know if he is. We might have to chat a little more after this video. But if you enjoyed this video, I hope you will like, subscribe, and share this with someone else. Because the purpose of me doing this is A, Jesus first, and B, I want to share some good, entertaining content that you can watch or listen to that is Christian oriented because we are the most hated religion, as I said earlier. So, um, if you enjoyed this video or it made you think deep, then exercise those buttons on your screen. If you have any questions about faith or anything like that, please put it in the comments. I would love to answer it and the best I can. And hopefully we make it to another great video. So, I hope you have a blessed day. Goodbye.